Hi, everybody. So I just took a couple of people through the Guilt Incinerator Thanksgiving workout, but I neglected to record it. So I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to share the Google Doc link in the library as well. So you can try this on your own. All you really need is a clock in front of you with a second hand, because it's a 20-minute continuous effort. You're changing intensities every minute. And if you don't have a cardio machine at your disposal, then you're also changing exercises every minute. And there's a list of exercises that you can follow minute by minute through the entire 20 minutes as you're going as well. So I'm going to share my screen right now and explain the workout while I'm doing that. Bear with me. Sorry for the delay, folks. Here it is. So this is the workout. The Guilt Incinerator workout, 20-minute metabolic meltdown intensity ladders. So there are 4 ladders of intensity plus a warm up and cool down here, and you don't stop moving for 20 minutes. So I'll go over the intensities on the right column first. So if you have a cardio machine, you're just going to stay on the same exercise for the entire time. But if you don't, you're going to change exercises every minute, and the list is here. But I'm going to talk about the intensities first. The first 2 minutes are warm up. So there's a warm up built in. Unless you want to, you don't really have to do anything extra from a warm up perspective. It kind of progresses up in intensity through those first 6 minutes. So warm up intensity would be easy, obviously, just trying to get the blood flowing, getting heated up a little bit. When you get to the moderate intensity minute, you want that to be work, but not anything hard at all. And in fact, when you get to these subsequent moderate minutes in blue, you're coming off of a very hard interval. So you may just want to stop or walk or breathe for a few seconds before you get into the actual exercise that you're supposed to be moderating. But moving on to the next step in the ladder of intensity, 7 is a tempo rate, which basically means somewhat hard, but not actually hard yet. So tempo is a term in endurance sport. It's used to describe an intensity that you can hold for a fairly long time, but it's hard work to hold for a long time, so 10 minutes or so or more. So think of it that way. So just somewhat hard on that 7 out of 10 in the green intervals. Then you progress up to a hard minute. And that should be legitimately hard, but you still want to have at least 1 gear in the tank. For the peak minute, all these red ones are the peak minutes, which is very hard until you get to the last peak. And the last peak has a double minute, so it's a double peak. And so just by virtue of sheer exhaustion at this point, just trying to keep moving, probably with squats or squat jump, which is the exercise that you'll be doing, you will most likely be at that 10 out of 10 by that point. The exercises are, besides the warm-up, which is idle or A drill, and your choice there are 4 of them. So alternating lunge or stride, step or jump, squat or squat jump, burpees, and A drill. And each one of these exercises has a turn at each intensity. So there's a peak at A drill, there's a peak at alternating lunge, there's a peak at burpees, there's a peak at squat jump, and that's where the double peak is. And again, every intensity has one of these or you know what I'm trying to say. They each get a turn at each intensity. So I'm just going to demo the exercises quick for the purpose of the recording, and then I'm going to turn you loose with your own stopwatch to do this. So alternating stride or lunge. So you can do that in a step. That would be a stride step. And if you're trying to moderate and you're not the best lunger, you might just want to do a step. If you're able to do a lunge, that's great. If you want to bring up the intensity, you can do this with a jump. If you can't, then that's fine too. You can just keep it at a step. But so a jumping lunge, or if you want to make that a little easier, you just do a jumping stride. So that's that one. And I should mention that your work rate at the first ladder might not be the same as at the last ladder, just because of cumulative fatigue. So work within the minute that you are. Squat or squat jump. So a squat, bring your arms forward, bring your hips back, flatten your knees out as you sink to the bottom. Try to pin your shoulder blades together so I'm looking up to my right because I have a bigger screen up here. And so squatting is an option. So the more reps you do per 10 seconds, the harder that becomes. If you want to make it even harder, you can amp up the power output with each rep by adding a jump. When you're landing on that squat jump, your hips go right back into the subsequent squat when you land. Next is burpees. And for that, we're all pretty familiar, but we plant our palms on the floor, jump back to plank. I'm sure hope you can see me. Jump forward and stand up or jump. If you want to make that a little bit easier, you've got a platform here. You plant your palms on the platform, jump back, jump forward, and stand or jump. So if you're on minute 11 is a moderate intensity minute, but it's burpees, which sounds counterintuitive, but you might want to just plant your hands on a platform to make that a little bit easier on you so you can get a little bit of recovery during that moderate minute. The final exercise option that you'll be rotating in is A's. So if you're on a moderate intensity minute, you might just want to do a march or a skip, depending on your fitness level and your ability to do this exercise. If you're on a hard or a very hard, so an 8 or a 9 out of 10 rate of perceived exertion, then you probably want to go to a run if you can. If not, just stick with what you're able to. And again, work within the minute that you are in. So you're changing gears every minute, and there are 4 ladders with 4 peaks. Last peak has 2 minutes, and you come down to a nice slow idle. So whole foot of jacks to cool down, or maybe just an easy march on the spot, which is the same way you warm up in the first 2 minutes. That is the stuffing burner. I hope you understand it, and hope you have a stopwatch that you can run through this on your own with if you choose to. Take care.